Today we have Eric Michael on the show, known for trading thousands of sports cards, making a lot of money doing it. How in the heck did you get into trading sports memorabilia?
I heard about a kid who bought his brand new sports Toyota Corolla for $30,000 with his own money at 17 years old. How does he have $30,000? And he's like, I buy and sell sports cards. And I was like, dude, you have to teach me. I love sports. I love money. I have a few extra bucks from delivering pizza. And quickly I started making a few extra $1,000 a month.
What's the most money you've ever made on a single card?
So I met this guy in the Tropicana hotel lobby in Atlantic City. I gave him $70,000 on the spot because I knew it was a good deal. And the next day I went to the card show and sold it for
Holy cow.
Going into my senior year of college, I was like, you know what? Let me see what my degree could do. So I got an internship as a financial analyst, and when I say I hated it, I couldn't believe how much I hated it. And I lasted for 5 days. I should say I quit, but apparently I was gonna get fired because I was hitting on the secretary.
Welcome back to another episode of the Austin is Zaback show. Today we have Eric Michael on the show, known for trading thousands of, well, probably tens of thousands of sports cards, sports memorabilia in general, making a lot of money doing it and teaching a lot of people how to make a lot of money doing it. And you have kind of an interesting story. I've actually never interviewed anybody who has done what you're doing or what you've done, you know, in any way, shape, or form. So this will be a fun one for me, kind of diving in. I was actually watching some videos this morning, just in preparation, you know, about trading cards and stuff like that. So anyways, I appreciate you being on the show, man, and we'll dive right into it.
Sweet. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Of course. So we met in the sauna.
We did.
At the Optima for
Yep.
people watching. And so we both currently live at the Optima in Kierland, Arizona. I'm actually moving out, I think, soon. We'll see. But anyways, we're sitting in the sauna, baking at 200 degrees or whatever, and we got to talking about trading, you know? So talk to me a little bit. How in the heck did you get into trading sports memorabilia?
Cool. So just to preface it, so it's specifically sports cards,
Okay.
C-A-R-D-S. I just say memorabilia and autographs because when I say sports cards, people think I say sports cars, and I'll be 5 minutes into a conversation, and they'll be like, oh yeah, Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and I'm like, no, sports cards. So it's specifically sports cards.
Okay.
And the way I got into it, so I'm from a town, it's called Wayne, New Jersey. There's two high schools in the town. There's the middle class side of town, which is where I went. There's the rich side of town. And you know how when you're 17 years old, everyone gets their own cars, C-A-R-S, cars. You know, parents buy their kids cars, cars, kids buy their own cars. And I heard about a kid who bought his own brand new sports Toyota Corolla for $30,000 with his own money at 17 years old. And I was like, how the heck did this kid, how does he have $30,000? And a friend of mine was friends with him, so I contacted him. And he's like, I buy and sell sports cards. This kid was like low-key, like more nerdy. No one really knew who he was. He would kind of keep to himself, one of those. And I was like, dude, you have to teach me. I love sports. I love money. I have a few extra bucks from delivering pizza. And this was a time in 2015. So sports cards blew up during the pandemic. Went crazy. But before the pandemic, this was a time when if you said the word sports cards, people would look at you like you have two heads. Like, what? Like those things you put between the bicycle wheels. But I begged him. He showed me. And quickly I started making a few extra $1,000 a month. And I was absolutely hooked. And that's how I got into it. So
Dang.
that's the short story.
So you got in 2015.
2015, August of 2015.
Wow. You haven't been in that long. I mean, well, almost a decade, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
9 years, yep.
And you do this full time.
Yep, I do that full time, and then I teach people how to do it full time.
Sure.
So
When did you start teaching people?
this was March of 2020.
Okay.
That's how I got in. That's a whole story in itself. But yeah, March of 2020 was my business partner. His name's John Suarez. It was actually his idea. He came to me with the idea, and I actually said to him, that's a dumb idea. No one's ever going to pay money for that. But we launched it right when the pandemic started, and it just went viral.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. How many students do you have now? Roughly.
Total, like, ever?
Yeah, like how many people have you coached, do you think? Like over 1,000?
Yeah, probably like between like 14 to 1,500.
It's super cool, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but the majority of the views that we get are from people that are not subscribed. So do me a huge favor and subscribe if you like the podcast so far. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and let's just go ahead and get back to the interview. So you said in the beginning of the podcast, and I'm just curious, because this will be a huge learning lesson for me too, and probably a lot of people listening, why not trade other memorabilia? Like, why just cards with a D, right? Like, how come, like, why not jerseys or, like, what, fill in the blank?
Yeah, so there's a nice arbitrage opportunity with sports cards. So what you could do to keep it very basic, I should have brought one, but I didn't. I came from the gym. But what you could do with a sports card is, let's take a popular player like C.J. Stroud, who's a very good football player for the Houston Texans. Right now, you could buy one of his cards. Let's call it's a silver prism. Some of you guys watching that probably know what this is, and it's worth about $150. And what you can do is send it in to get graded. What grading a card means is you send it into a company, and they give it a grade based on its condition and qualities, like the corners, the edges, the centering, the surface. And if it checks out, well, it'll grade a 10. And that $150 card, that'll cost about $20 to get it graded, it'll be worth about $400 to $500. You can't really get other stuff graded as easy. So there's like a nice arbitrage opportunity with sports cards. As opposed to like memorabilia, you could buy that stuff. It has razor thin margins. Like sports cards is something you could literally pick up today, and within a month or two, start making an extra $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month. Right?
Yeah.
If you go and buy a autographed jersey, maybe you'll buy it for $200 and hopefully sell it for like $250. Just no real money to be made.
I wonder why.
I don't know.
Is it too like you mentioned, like an autographed jersey, right? Like, is it super easy for somebody just to like fake an autograph? Like, I mean, I'm just curious, like, compared to a card.
Both get faked, for sure. Well, what you do is nothing will ever be valid unless it's sent into a company. Like, these grading companies also authenticate stuff. So, like, I could show you an autograph of Babe Ruth and be like, yo, it's real. It's worth $20,000, but it's not worth anything until it actually gets authenticated. So people fake stuff all the time. There's crazy fake sports card stories. Like, my favorite one, I shouldn't say my favorite one, just the smartest one. And I actually almost got scammed on this. So what these people in Mexico were doing is, so they were taking these Michael Jordan cards. So Michael Jordan's famous rookie card is from 1986. Fleer, it's like a picture of him dunking. And what they would do is, so let's say the card was graded an 8, right?
Yeah.
It's worth about like $4,000 to $5,000. They'll cut a slit in the bottom of the case, take out the real card, put in a fake one, glue up the slits. You would never know. It's like there was a slit there. You would never know the case was open. So now this fake card is in the case, so it looks graded, it looks authenticated, it looks like it's an actual 8. They'll sell it for like $4,000 to $5,000, whatever it's worth, and then they'll take the real Michael Jordan card and send it in for grading again. So now they'll have 2 cards.
Wow.
So that's my favorite scam story, even though I shouldn't say that out loud, but I was like, wow, that's kind of creative. But yeah, so there's all sorts of scams and fakes.
Do you know if they got caught? Like, I mean, I'm sure people like that get caught, right? Like, they have to.
I mean, they're in Mexico.
Yeah, what can you do?
Who knows who they are? There's also other people that, like, you're not supposed to do this, but, like, will trim cards. So, like, if a corner's a little bit dinged up, they'll slightly trim it so the corner's a nice, sharp right angle, and the card will grade better. You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that's all sorts of scam stories.
Yeah, super interesting. So with cards, then let's go back to the grading process. So I'm curious, right? And talk to me like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, right? So I'd imagine grading 1 to 10, 10 being the best grade that a card can get, 1 being the worst grade a card can get, right? Yep. So then why wouldn't anybody just grade every card? Like, why would it just be the card enthusiast or the guy like you that would buy a card ungraded and unauthenticated and then grade and authenticate it? Like, why wouldn't the previous owner do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So these cards, simply enough, come from something called breaks. So people open up boxes and cases, and that's what most of the hobby's filled with. It's filled with people that just love to rip open boxes and cases and packs, love the thrill of the gamble. It's like kind of going to the casino and pulling a slot machine. You're going to lose in the long run, but people like to do it, and they just like getting the cards, selling them right away, getting cash, and just keep gambling. So that's where most of the cards come from. And people don't have patience, or they don't have patience. They've had bad experiences with grading because they don't know what to look for. They'll send in a few cards, they'll grade 8s or 9s, and they'll be like, not for me. It's a special skill. It is a skill, like being able to evaluate a card and look at the corners and the edges and the centering and the surface and be like, okay, this card has a good chance to grade a 10. Sure. But yeah, most people are just simple hobbyists who just like to open up packs and boxes and just take the cards, sell them, and do it again.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like any industry if you think about it. It's so interesting that in every industry in, a capitalist economy like America, right? Like dude, like, I don't know, have you ever seen like Ryan Pineda, for example?
Yeah.
So he was big into couch flipping at one point, right?
Yep.
And it was just like, there's so many ways, there's an old saying, there's a million ways to make $1 million, right?
Yeah.
And it really is true if you think about it. I mean, like, you could flip it. You could buy that microphone and flip it and make a profit, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And it's just like, you could get good at anything and make a lot of money, right? And I think it's one of the reasons that I love America, right? Like, in talking to guys like you who, look, you've helped 1,500 people, make probably a pretty good living, and we'll dive into that in a little while, literally just flipping cards and getting good at it. So talk to me and the audience of if somebody was brand new watching, right? So like, say somebody joined your program, okay? And what's like the first piece of advice that you give a human being to kind of get into the world that you're in? So like, when you sat down with that kid in 2015, right? And you're kind of like, you're like, dude, show me the ropes. Like, what did he tell you first? Like, what was the first kind of advice that he gave you to kind of get in and break into the world?
Oh, wow. What did he tell me? So his name is Dylan. He's probably going to be watching this. Shout out to you, Dylan, because I wouldn't be here without you. What did he tell me? Well, first, he broke down the math behind it. So the reason why sports cards is an amazing thing, and audience for watching, those of you that are watching, this is going to sound too good to be true, but I actually promise this is how it works. So if you invest in stocks or, your downside is huge, right? You could lose 50% of the value. However, if you buy a sports card, let's take that CJ Stroud, for example. Let's say it cost $150. So it costs $150 to get graded. It's $20 to get the card graded. $150 for the card, excuse me. It costs $20 to get graded. Now you're looking at two options. A card's never really going to grade an 8 if you know what you're doing. It's going to be a 9 or a 10. Okay. If it grades a 9, you'll lose or make plus or minus 5%. You'll lose a little bit or make a little bit. Worst case scenario, you lose $30, $20. But if it grades a 10, you'll make $200, $250, right? I hope everyone watching this right now would flip a coin, and if you win, you make $200, and if you lose 20.
Yeah.
The math works out once you know what you're doing. So understanding that math first, it's a mindset thing, and then, okay, now go into the nitty-gritty detail and start learning how to negotiate and find what cards are worth, and these are the types of cards to buy, and this is how to evaluate the condition of a card, but a lot of it's mindset. It's like classic business, right? All people, new business owners, like, I don't need mindset, but it is a mindset thing, because I could tell you the most successful people in my program, who some of them are my coaches now, they just had a let it rip mindset. They understood the math, like, hey, I'm risking a little bit to make a lot, let it rip.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like me. Like, I love to gamble. It helps me with business because I just look at money like a tool that goes up and down. So just once you understand the math, you're a lot more okay taking risks. It's a great math game, right?
Yeah. You just have to win more than you lose.
Yeah.
It's like anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're flipping a couple of houses right now. We flip a ton of real estate. Obviously, we're huge wholesalers, and I run the number one resale team in the state of Arizona, and then we're the number 2 wholesaler in the country, right? And then we cherry pick and we flip, and there's 2 out of the 15 that we're flipping at any given time that will break even or lose a couple grand, And I was telling my fiance last night, I was like, just get, there's this one that we're trying to sell right now, and we're going to lose a couple grand on it. I bought it wrong. It wasn't a good deal. It was in a bad little condominium.
What'd you do wrong?
I just bought, it was a condo. I didn't understand the HOA of the condo before I bought it, right? So it wasn't until after I bought it that I realized that you can't have pets in that HOA. So no end buyer can have a dog or a cat or anything like that. I didn't know that when I bought it, right?
Okay.
And then it's also restricted for some, and I don't even know how they got away with this. So for somebody watching, maybe they can comment down below, but still can't wrap my brain around this, and I've been in real estate for a long time. It is not a 55 and older community. However, they don't allow kids in the community, which I don't know how they do that, because to me that's discrimination.
That's bizarre.
Yeah. So, anyways, but it just, and then it's like a 1-bedroom, 1 bathroom. It's a small condo, so it has to be like a single guy or a single girl, right? And anyways, just moral of the story is I'm going to lose a couple grand, right? But the point is that when I win, I've got another flip right now where we'll make 130 grand, right? And so when I lose money flipping, same as you, we lose a couple grand, right? I barely got the numbers wrong. I barely bought the deal wrong. We over renovated. We had to put a new AC in there, whatever it might be, right? But when we win big.
Yep.
And you just have to win more than you lose.
Exactly. So a question for you. So on your average win, how much do you make on your average loss? Your average loss.
Yeah.
How much do you make?
So with flipping in particular, so I'll separate flipping from like wholesaling and all that for a minute, right? Because I own like 5 different companies that do different things. So with flipping, our average flip is about 50 grand in
Profit.
in profit. Yep. And that's like net profit, take home after everything, right?
Okay.
Like cash in the bank. Our average loss is probably like 2 to 5 grand.
That's good.
And probably for every 10 deals, I'd say I could look at the numbers. Like I have all the data to back this up. But we probably, I'd say for every 10 deals, we make money on 9, meaning we make on average 50K, and we lose on 1.
Okay.
So figure like 9 times like 50, what would that be? Well, 10 times 50 is 500 grand. So for every 450 grand that we make, we lose 5 grand.
That's a great game, but
it's not a bad game,
but
right?
the secret sauce that you're not mentioning and I'm not mentioning is you have a competitive advantage.
Yeah.
Your knowledge, right? Like people watching this right now, oh, the average is you make this, and when you lose, it's this. Let me start buying real estate. But if an average Joe just starts buying real estate, they're probably gonna lose their ass, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, which like brings me to like something I'm sure you're gonna ask about, like coaching. Like, people invest $100,000 into college, and like, did you go to college?
I did not.
Smart choice.
Did you?
I did.
Okay.
Funny story. I failed out my last semester, and then I thought I graduated, but I didn't. Then I ended up getting my diploma 3 years later. Crazy story. But I'm not here to talk about college.
Okay.
Well, I am, but to put a bad light on it. So college, like I went to Rutgers University. If you think about this logically for a second, you take, 8 classes a year, like 10 classes a year. You're there for 4 years. You take 40 classes a year. Realistically, if you talk to anyone that goes to college, 36 to 38 of those classes are useless. Honestly, most of them are useless. You could probably get any job and learn what you need to know on the job on YouTube.
Yep.
Now, if college costs $100,000 and 90% of the classes are BS, you're blowing $90,000. And people are like, jump at the gun, like, whoa, let me take out this loan and go waste 4 years of my life and hopefully start making money in 4 years. But a coaching program that might be $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 for real estate or sports cards, an actual attainable way to start making money. Like, whoa, $8 grand, $7 grand. I'm not doing that, but it's the same person that's $100,000 in debt from college. Makes no sense.
It's insane.
Imagine your real estate coaching program. You were like, hey, it's, let's say, X number, but you have to wait 4 years to start making money.
Right.
Would anyone ever join?
Never.
Hell no, they'd hang up the phone on you
Yeah,
right away.
for
And
sure.
I would too.
Yeah.
Right? It's crazy when you think about it. But the reality is, like, college, it's just ingrained in our brain from our parents our whole lives. So we think it's normal. But as like an equation, like when we're looking at strictly making money, it's a horrible decision.
Yeah, horrible. Yeah, I think college is a huge scam. I'm with you. I think the only time, especially like nowadays, right? So like 20, 30 years ago, different story probably, right? Now, I think if you want to be a doctor, lawyer, surgeon, dentist, like go do what you have to do to become that, right? But any other thing in America, like why would you go to college? Like why? I see people going to college to get a business degree. It's like,
I got a business degree.
It's insane.
Yeah. Oh my. Business in a nutshell is like, do you show up on time?
Right.
Do you have a relentless work ethic? Are you willing to take risks? Like,
Yeah.
are you personable? And then like managing employees is a whole other thing that's not taught in college at all. Like I have like a prestigious finance degree. When I say it didn't help me at all, it did not help me at all.
Yeah.
Like it helped me a little bit learn how to use Google spreadsheets. That's it, which can be done on YouTube.
Which you can figure it out on
yeah,
YouTube.
Yeah. Like it literally helped zero.
Hey, really quick, I'm sure you already know, but I've done over 2,500 wholesale deals in my career, and me and my team consistently do anywhere from 1 to 2 wholesale deals a day. If you're looking to get better at wholesaling, or maybe you're brand new, you've never wholesaled a deal, I would actually love to coach you. I would love to mentor you, and I would love for you to be a part of our education program. All you have to do is go to www.flippinsimple.com, or you can find a link in the description down below and book a strategy session with my team to see if you would be a good fit for our coaching program. Again, this is our exact strategy and formula of how we are actually able to go out every single day and do anywhere from 1 to 2 wholesale deals a day. Nobody's talking about what we're doing, and I really look forward to coaching you and mentoring you. So again, go to www.flippinsimple.com. Now let's just go ahead and get back to the show. Dude,
It's crazy.
And now you got Biden forgiving a bunch of college debt for billions and billions of dollars. So we'll see how that goes. But it's a whole different conversation. So real quick, I want to go back to the cards, and we'll go all over the place here. So talk to me about, you've talked a lot about the $150 card, okay? Yeah. And, $20, get it authenticated, get it graded, flip it for $350, $400. Talk to me about the higher end card game. So like, $5,000 card, $7,000 card. I was watching a couple videos. I like to try to be as prepared as I can before I interview somebody or have a conversation with somebody, right? And I was watching a couple videos this morning on YouTube, and I saw there's a couple guys that I was watching that they would go to like an auction. And I want to talk about this too, like where do you buy cards and where do you sell them, right?
Yeah.
But they would go to like places like these, or I guess they're like card events or whatever. He was in like Dallas, okay? And he's like filming it. He's got a videographer there. He buys a card. This guy wants like $9,000 for the card, right? He ends up getting it for $7,000, and then he ends up selling it like 3 months later for like $40,000, right? For a single card.
Okay. Is not usual.
Probably
okay.
not. I'm sure it's not,
Yeah.
right? That's a home run. You're 400-time return on your money, right?
Yeah.
It's also not usual in real estate either, or probably any industry. However, is there a market for that? And would you, what's the most expensive card that you've ever flipped? And do you ever flip in the higher end card game?
Yeah, so that's me personally. That's all I do is flip higher end stuff because now my time is capped with Major League Profits because MLP, Major League Profits, is just a much better opportunity for myself in terms of making money and have impact. So I only buy a few cards, but all higher end, usually at least $7,000 to $10,000 plus. And this is the way to make money with higher end cards. So, and once again, camera, this is going to sound too good to be true, but I promise you this is how it works if you do it correct. So listen up. So sports, 3 big sports: football, basketball, baseball. There's hockey too, but hockey's not as big with the cards. And then there's UFC and soccer, but what I'm about to say does not apply. So what you could do when you're buying a card that's like 7, 10, 15 grand, you're never going to find one of these cards to buy and actually get graded. Not going to happen. These cards aren't sitting out there waiting to be graded as a 10. So you have to buy them already graded. All right. Let me give you an example. Right now we're speaking, it's February of 2024. So what is hot right now? Well, the basketball season's going on. Baseball's around the corner. Baseball cards are really hot. What is nobody buying? Football.
It just ended.
No one gives a shit, right?
Yeah.
So since no one gives a shit about football, really look into it. And what players do really no one cares about right now? Well, me personally, I'll just give away my investments. I'm big on buying Trevor Lawrence. He had a horrible end to the season, right? Didn't make the playoffs. Jaguars were supposed to win the division. Bad. Kyler Murray, right here in Arizona. Another guy no one's paying attention to. Justin Fields. So these are all guys. This is how I make money. So I just bought a Trevor Lawrence card for about $9,000. This card about a year ago was actually worth like $25,000, but it came down a lot because he was so disappointing this season and he was injured. The Jaguars weren't as good, and July, August, the football season's going to heat up. The Jaguars might draft someone like a receiver. They might get a better defense. But anyways, there's going to be excitement revolved around Trevor Lawrence. I don't know how much, maybe a lot, maybe a little bit, but I will bet my ass I will sell this card at the minimum $12,000, at the maximum like $20,000.
And you bought it for $7,000?
$9,000.
Okay.
$9,000, which is like crazy because once again, this goes back to like what I just said before. I could do this because I have a competitive advantage because I know the industry very well. But if you think about it, right, it's February. I'm going to sell this card in like 4 or 5 months. I'm basically saying to you, camera, I'm at least going to make a 30% return at the minimum.
At the minimum.
And at the most, like 100%.
Yeah.
30% return in 4 months. You go tell that to your financial freaking person, and he'll think you're crazy and hit you over the head or hit you over the head with his pencil. So, but it's realistic. I do it all the time. So that's how to make money with higher end cards. You buy them already graded. Well, no one wants them.
Yep. And
then you sell them when everyone wants them.
Got it.
You zig, well, everybody zags.
Okay. Where do you buy them and where do you sell them typically?
Me personally, it's like I don't get to go to as many card shows anymore. Card shows are great for higher end cards because like people love cash.
Yeah.
And honestly, there's a lot of shady characters in sports cards that like cash. So like bookies, people who sell things you shouldn't, people like that. So card shows are great for cash. You can get great deals. That's great for higher end cards. So I'm like 50-50 between like card shows and cash. This specific Trevor Lawrence card where I got it. So what I did is back in October, I bought a big card of Shohei Ohtani. Same principle. No one wanted Ohtani. He was kind of hurt at the end. His value was still a lot of money. And I actually bought this specific Ohtani card. I actually got graded. But anyways, I bought it when no one wanted it. I got it cheap. And then I actually traded it and some other cards for this Trevor Lawrence card. Does that make sense?
Yes,
so like
you traded him.
The value like went up.
Yep.
And then I just moved it into a Trevor Lawrence card, and then I'm gonna this Trevor Lawrence card. I'm gonna do the same thing. Probably trade it into another card in August and September when no one wants baseball again, and just like a cycle. That's like the higher end card game, and that's how I do it. People do it all sorts of different ways, but for me, that's what's worked.
How's eBay for trading cards?
Lower end cards, good. Like cards that are $300, $400, $500, $600, really consistent, really good. Higher end cards, no good.
No bueno.
No.
Okay. And why not? eBay takes too big of a fee, the shipping, the handling, what?
eBay's fee actually, so eBay takes a 13% fee, or I think 12.9%, and their fee actually goes down as the cards get more in value with a lot of sellers if you're like a pro seller. But it's just too risky, like auctioning a card, like a $20,000 card on eBay. Like, sometimes people are trigger shy if you just don't have the right bidder there. I just have not had good luck with it. I don't think I've ever moved like a high-end card on eBay, like a card over like $6-7 grand. Really? Honestly.
Where do you move it then if it isn't eBay? Like how do you sell it?
Facebook group or card show. Facebook groups are popping.
Really?
Yeah, they're good.
So there's a bunch of big groups out there that you can join.
So many.
Really?
So many.
How many members are in like some of the biggest groups that you're a part of, would you say?
The ones I'm a part of that I'm actually active in, it's only a few thousand, but it's like very tight knit. Like all these people have big budgets. They're trustworthy. Then there's bigger groups of like 50,000 people where like you're not sure who you're dealing with and you don't need to be vouched to get in. But it's crazy. You can hop on Facebook, go in a Facebook sports card group, and you'll see like just start scrolling down. You'll see like cards being posted. Hey, I want $5 grand for this, 10 grand for this, 20 grand for this. High-end cards are just flying all over the place. Yeah. In Facebook groups.
So talk to me a little bit about buying cards in bulk, right? I was watching some content about like, people who will do this, and we kind of mentioned it a little while ago, but people will like buy, 10 or 15 cards at one time, right? And then they'll, because you said a little while ago in the beginning of the pod, like part of the game that you're playing is just being patient, right? And having the wherewithal and the ability to delay the gratification to separate each card, sell them individually, make more profit, right? Yeah. But you said a lot of people aren't patient and they don't want to do that. So is there a lot of money in buying bulk cards and then separating them and selling them?
Yes. I have students that do that. They'll buy like hundreds of cards from someone for like a few $100s. Let's say they buy 100 cards from someone. They'll pick out like 10 or 15 of them that are grade worthy. They'll sell the rest to actually break even on the initial money they spent on all those cards, and they'll just pick out the grade worthy ones and let it rip and get them graded. I have a bunch of students that do that and are very successful. And then also what you could do, this is like probably literally the easiest, most realistic way to make money in sports cards. If you go to a sports card show, if you ever go to a sports card show, you have a dealer, and like there's a glass table with usually his expensive cards, and to the side of the glass table, there's this dollar box, so like cards that are worth $1. Dealers, a lot of the time, don't really care, and they'll put cards in there that are worth $10, $15, $20, and you can just go in there, just start going through this box of cards, and it's pretty obvious when a card's not worth $1. Like if you see an autograph of someone who's good, like I don't know, Josh Giddey, who's like a decent basketball player, that card's not worth $1, and you can just pick out the cards, buy like 20 cards for $20. Resell them for like $150, $200. It's not going to make you rich, but this is like the easiest possible way to make money in sports.
It's like how to get in as a beginner, like brand new, learn the game, go do that.
Yeah, especially if you're like younger and your budget's a few $100 or something. That's like literally the easiest way to make money.
If you're currently wholesaling real estate and you aren't using a CRM, then you're doing it wrong and you're leaving a ton of money on the table. We are one of the largest wholesalers in the nation, and by far the #1 tool that we use every single day is a phenomenal CRM, right? And a CRM is obviously a customer relationship management tool that will keep track of all of your leads. It'll follow up with people on your behalf. Even if you have a 9-to-5, right? A good CRM will be working for you while you're working at your job. So when you come home, you have a bunch of people to talk to buy their property, okay? Now, obviously, we have a CRM. It is called SimpleSend, and all you have to do is go to www.simplesend.com to check it out. It is by far my favorite CRM. We built it out over the years, and it will literally do everything you need it to do to become a phenomenal wholesaler. So go to www.simplesend, check it out, and I'm telling you, you will not regret it. For sure, yeah. And you just start stacking cash, and if you could do that at 16 years old. I mean, it don't matter, you know.
Yep.
And get to the point where you're 18, you got $5, $6, $7 grand to play with, and start getting into the bigger cards, and before you know it,
Yep.
You can make, 100, 200, 300 grand a year.
Yeah.
Just doing what you're doing.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Talk to me about a couple of your students. You mentioned you've had a couple of really successful people that you've come through your academy, that you've trained. Do you have any students in particular where you've seen just massive, from where they were when they joined your program to where they're at today, like they freaking 180?
Yeah, we have a bunch of people. So I'll dive into this a little bit. So we have a bunch of people that have quit their jobs, especially like my coaches. A few of them have quit their jobs. And yeah, so like I promote, like I'm sure a bunch of you guys watching this right now are like have seen a million ads for like Amazon and drop shipping and promising you to make $100,000 tomorrow. So like I come from the school of thought where like my marketing, I try to make it as realistic as possible because I actually think it's better marketing and it sets like a precedent for your program. Like, you're not having refunds and chargebacks because someone who's making $1,000 a month, if you told them they're going to make $10,000 a month, they'll be pissed off. But if you told them you're going to make a few grand a month and that's what they're making, they're going to be a lot happier. So like I promote the idea like, hey, do you work a 9-to-5 job? If you do, this is a realistic way to make an extra few $1,000s a month. My goal is to help a lot of people make a little bit of money. If you could do that, it'll change a lot of people's lives. So like a lot of the people that are in my program make like 80 to 100 grand a year, want to make an extra few $1,000s a month, get away from the wife for a little bit, watch sports, make money off of it. But I'll tell you this. So this is going to sound crazy. This is going to sound something that's too good to be true, Cameron, but I promise you it is. So a bunch of you guys watching this have probably sports gambled before. Are you familiar with sports gambling?
I am, yeah. Somewhat familiar.
Okay.
Not as familiar as you, I guarantee it, but...
So sports gambling is a bad thing. You should not do it. It's a losing proposition. There's a reason why casinos are built every year in Las Vegas. Right? How do they get all this money?
Yeah.
People lose, right? However, a lot of my students were losing money sports gambling. So they would make like $4,000 a month with sports cards and like lose half of it's like FanDuel or DraftKings or any of these sports books. So we hired a full-time sports betting coach. And long story short, we do this thing called sports betting arbitrage, where if someone like you could basically take advantage of like two different sports books having two different odds and put like $500 on a bet here, $500 on a bet there, and with no risk, no matter what happens in the game, you'll make an extra like 20, 30, 40 bucks, like a few percent of your bet. And you could do it multiple times a day. And we launched this in the program and it's taken off like wildfire. Like students are making an extra few $100s a day. Like you don't have to wait for cards to get graded. There's no risk and it's tremendous. You're not gonna make 50 grand a month doing it, but you could realistically make like $5,000-$6,000 a month. I'll tell you a story of one student real quick, and I'm proud of this story because it's very rare someone could do this. So I'll say his name because no one's gonna care. He's not gonna care. His name's Mark Beekman. He lives in Queens, New York. He came to us and he's like, "Hey, I heard you're doing this sports betting arbitrage stuff. I'm in a bad situation. I have a nanny that costs $3,000 a month. I'm running out of money. I gotta make money." And he's like, after paying you guys for the program, I have $1,500 to work with. Someone in a situation like that, usually they're screwed.
Yeah.
But anyways, he joined the program, started doing the sports betting arbitrage stuff, and he's been in our program for about probably a month and 25 days. He's netted $8,000 in profit.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and like he's like super thankful. He's like has invited like all of our coaches to like stay at his house and stuff.
Wow.
It's actually kind of funny. But yeah, so like because if you ever read Hermosi's book, $100 million offer, one of the things you want to do, especially in the world of consulting and coaching, is how fast can you make someone money? And like the whole sports betting arbitrage thing is like you can realistically start making someone money like tomorrow or the next day, which is insane, right? But we recently started doing that alongside with the sports cards. So now we're really teaching like 2 income streams, and it's been killer. Like students have been loving it.
Yeah, it's insane. And is there any? How does it work? Do you have to have like a particular platform? Like, how do you just sit on your computer and you look at what like DraftKings is doing over here, and you look at what another one's doing over here, and then how does it actually like play out?
So I'll explain it in simplest terms I could, and if you don't sports gamble, it'll probably be a little confusing. So we're partners with a software. This software shows you all the spreads, all the odds, and it will tell you where there's a discrepancy in odds. So I'll put it this way. So let's say the Knicks and the Lakers are playing tonight, right? Let's say someone goes on FanDuel and puts $500,000 on the Lakers. Well, what happens on FanDuel is they'll adjust the odds and the line because they want people to bet the other way on the Knicks now, right? They want an even amount of money on both sides because that's how they make money. If there's an even amount of money, they're guaranteed to make money because there's something called juice, like they take a vig. And FanDuel's odds might be one thing on their platform, but on DraftKings it might be another.
Yeah.
And if you could find these discrepancies, you can put $500 this way on the Lakers, $500 this way on the Knicks, and net $30, $40 profit. No risk. It doesn't matter what happens in the game. Like, I know it sounds too good to be true. I know, but I swear it's how it works. And it's incredible. And you could place 5, 6, 7 bets a day, make $200 to $300 a day, and that's how it works in its simplest form.
Wow. Yeah. Super dope. I'll have to definitely check out. Do you make content and stuff like that?
I don't.
Yeah.
Because once you start talking about sports betting, number one, like, it's a little like shady, and number two, you attract low quality leads.
Yeah,
so I stick to the sports cards, and the sports betting arbitrage stuff is only for our like upper end programs. So students only get introduced to it once they've started to make money with sports cards and they want like an upgrade.
Yeah.
There's testimonials out there of me talking about it with students, but no, I don't.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't talk about it.
No, I understand. I mean, when anytime you're running an offer, you've got to be very careful of the type of people that you're talking to, the demographic, right?
Yeah.
And make sure they're a good fit ultimately for your program, and then show them, hey, here's this other thing that we can do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, if I were to go on like a Facebook ad and explain what I just explained to you, people would think it's too good to be true.
Yeah, it's too complicated to explain in such a short period of time, right?
Yeah, and like going on a Facebook ad and saying, hey, you can make money tomorrow. There's no risk. It takes an hour to 2 a day of work. It sounds too good to be true anyway, so
why do it?
I stay, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the future, in your opinion, of sports cards and trading and all that in general. You talk about like, hey, during the pandemic, it blew up. Why do you think that was? People just have a bunch of extra time now. They're sitting at home. Okay.
That's why. Just the same reason NFTs, crypto,
everything blew up.
Yeah, all those alternative assets, I call them, blew up. It was crazy because, like, just to put it in perspective, like a LeBron James PSA 10 rookie card, like his 2003 rookie card, was about $2,000 before the pandemic, so like February of 2020. December of 2020, it was 30.
Holy cow.
Like, and like I knew like this is not sustainable, but I was making a lot of money off it. I was like, this is crazy. But that same card today is worth like 7-ish thousand. So the market's still like 3x from where it was before the pandemic. But just the simple reason as to people were just home bored, doing nothing. Just wanted to spend money, I guess, on sports cards.
So what do you think the future is? I mean, is it just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger? I mean, how long has the industry been around?
It's been around, so like forever. There's cards from like, 1900. Basically what happened in like the 70s, 80s, and 90s, the sports card market collapsed in the 90s because they were making take Ken Griffey Jr. They would take his rookie card and just print the same exact card hundreds of thousands of times. So there's too many cards in the market. Inflation, market crashed at some point in the 90s. Then it started to come around in like 2010. Now, Fanatics, do you know the company Fanatics?
Somewhat familiar.
They're like a company that makes like jerseys. Okay. And they have a sports book. They actually bought the rights to produce all of the sports cards starting in 2026. And the owner of that company, Michael Rubin, he's like a longtime collector. So he really knows what he's doing. I think just as sports gets bigger, sports cards are just going to get bigger.
Yep.
And like with like sports being like globalized, right? Like NFL, NBA pushing their stuff overseas. Then you have sports gambling, getting people into sports as well, right? They run ads all over the place. Sports cards will follow along suit. So it's only getting bigger. I mean, the question you have to ask yourself is if sports is going to go away, then sports cards will. But probably not going to happen.
I have to ask, because before we change the topic at all, what's the most money you've ever made on a single card flipping it?
All right. So that's a good question. So Atlantic City, the National Card Show. So the National Card Show is once a year. It's late July or early August, and they switch cities. And in 2022 is in Atlantic City. And I got a text message from a friend saying, hey, so sports cards was like exploding at this point. This was the pandemic.
So this was like 2021, 2022?
2022.
Okay,
this
got
was
it.
July of 2022.
Okay.
And I got a text from a friend. He's like, hey, my friend has a Justin Herbert card. The card's worth like $100,000. And he's like, he wants to sell it. He's just got it graded, so he's into it for cheap. He paid like $30,000. He wants to sell it. I was like, sure. So I met this guy in the Tropicana hotel lobby in Atlantic City, which sounds sketchy. I gave him $70,000 on the spot because I knew it was a good deal. And the next day, I went to the card show and sold it for $110,000.
Holy cow!
That's the most I've ever made on a card and the most expensive card I've sold. I try to stay in like the 10 to 20 grand range because once you start selling cards like $100,000, it's too complicated to move.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a crazy story. But that's
$40,000 in a day.
Yep.
Yeah.
In a day.
It's pretty cool. What are some other people out there doing? You say it's super complicated after like $100,000, but I imagine there's people playing in that league, right?
Yeah, that league is. Yeah, it's a different league. That league is like my strategy of like buying in the off season and selling it before the season, buying low and selling like when the hype doesn't really apply for cards that are like 100, 200 grand. Like when you're buying a card like that, the only way you're going to make money is like really if this player performs well. And I don't want to put most players don't perform up to expectations.
Right.
Like most cards go down in value over time because most players just don't perform well. Like if you look at like a random, like the NBA draft from 2013, out of 30 first-round picks, there's one superstar, Giannis Antetokounmpo. So most players just don't perform well. Like if you look at like just every year the quarterbacks being drafted, like look at 2021. So like Trevor Lawrence is really the only decent guy. Like look at all the failures like Mac Jones, Zach Wilson's horrific. Justin Fields has not been good. And I'm missing one. Oh, and I think Davis Mills was from that year.
Okay.
Right? All disasters. Like a Mac Jones, his Black Prism 101 sold for $100,000 at one point. If you auction that card today, I'd be shocked if it did over 5,000.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you lose your you-know-what on that thing.
Yeah. So I'm not a scout. Like I love watching sports and I have my opinions. I love to gamble, but not like that. I like to gamble when the odds I think are in my favor.
For sure.
Yeah.
Is there ever money just in buying and holding a card long term?
Vintage.
Okay.
So I have like my personal collection's a bunch of like 1933 Babe Ruth cards. I just think they're cheap. I like Babe Ruth for whatever reason, even though I'm a Mets fan, so it doesn't really make much sense. But holding vintage goes up a steady 10 to 20% a year, depending on the card and player.
It's like buying gold, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or buying whatever, Bitcoin or whatever. Yeah, just buy and hold.
Yep.
Buy and hold. Any particular way that you have to store a vintage card like that?
Keep it out of the sun.
Yeah.
Which should be obvious. I mean, you shouldn't have a card in the sun.
Sure.
Keep it out of the light and the sun. Put it in a drawer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Humidity, probably no bueno.
I don't know enough about that, but it's probably something I should know about.
We live in Arizona, so it doesn't matter.
My collection's in my childhood drawer next to my childhood bed in my parents' home. So it's probably not the way to do it, but that's where mine is.
Yeah, for sure. I wanna transition just for a minute. Maybe we'll come back. But you were in was it Shopify for a little while?
Amazon, then Shopify.
Amazon, then Shopify. I figure we may as well talk about it because I lost a bunch of money in Amazon automation, right? I think everybody did, by the way. I don't know if anybody that actually made money in that crap.
Nah, it's impossible. Automation, if it's too good to be true,
dude,
it probably is, even though I just said that sounds too good to be true.
For sure. Well, with the automation, though, it's like 30, 40, 50 grand you were paying these people to And thank God I never promoted it really or anything like that. So it was just like, I bought a store or two, and that was the end
What
of it.
happened?
But
Give me like the short synopsis.
You like everybody, right? You buy it, and then you get set up. They set you up on Amazon, and then you start selling product, right? And then you get shut down. Amazon just comes and shuts you down.
Why?
Well, because you're violating it, terms of service with Amazon automation, right? You can't do that, So
why not? What are you violating?
I don't know all the details. I just know, well, that's the whole point. You're paying these automation companies to do it, right? Because you're drop shipping a product from, let's say, and again, I probably sound stupid right now, so people can correct me in the comments down below. That'll drive the engagement when they hate on me. But so like people are buying a product from like Walmart, let's just say, and then drop shipping it directly to the customer on Amazon. So you can't do that.
So these automation companies weren't actually buying the stuff from China, getting it in the Amazon.
Most of them weren't.
Yeah.
Most of them were just in real time. They would list a product on Amazon for like $10 more than what you could buy it on Walmart, right? And then a customer would buy it on Amazon, and then they would just immediately, like a software or VA would just go buy it from Walmart and then drop ship it. So ship that product directly to the customer that just ordered it on Amazon for a profit.
But stuff when it wasn't shut down, like stuff was selling?
Oh, yeah, stuff sold for sure. Yeah, I mean, you'd make like a ton of money in a short period of time, but then you get shut down, and then Amazon would hold all your money, and then
what would the automation company do?
Dude, all of them, to my knowledge, got sued big time.
Yeah, I know Kevin David. I know like a big lawsuit. I was one of my business mentors who he did like $1 million a month. I'm not gonna say his name with like e-com or Amazon automation. He taught me so much about business, about marketing and selling. not much on fulfillment. But yeah, and he had an office just like you out in Huntington Beach, California, and like super nice. And I remember just seeing all the complaints from like clients. That's just an impossible offer to fill.
It is.
It's just way too good to be true.
Way too good to be true, bro. Yeah. So luckily, I only lost a little bit of money. I got out. I was like, I'm done. I'm not getting shiny object syndrome again, you know. But so talk to me about your experience. At what point did you get into Shopify? Why did you get in? I mean, if you're making good money, and was it just like me, kind of just that shiny object of like, oh, I'll go dabble a little bit over here. I'll dabble a little bit over there.
Not shiny object. So basically what happened throughout college, I was making like a few grand a month with sports cards. And so going into my senior year of college, which was 2018, I was like, you know what? Let me see what my degree could do. I was getting good grades. The finance major. I went to a good school. I was like, let's see. So I got an internship as a financial analyst at this company called Atlas Copco. I think it was in Parsippany, New Jersey. And so it was in a cubicle, you know, just like any other office job. And when I say I hated it, I couldn't believe how much I hated it. And I lasted for 5 days, and I quit. Well, I should say I quit, but apparently I was going to get fired because I was hitting on the secretary. But I did quit.
Before you got fired.
But I was going to get fired anyways. It kind of happened at the same time. But I was out. And after those 5 days, I remember, so I actually quit on my birthday, June 6th of 2018. I went to Bar A in Belmar, New Jersey, got super drunk, partied, that I realized I didn't want to do this anymore in my life. And then once I sobered up, the next day I was like, okay, I need to make more money. It's like a ticking time bomb. When I graduated in May of 2019, I got to make something of myself. I could not go to corporate America. Nothing wrong with having a job, just wasn't for me. Yeah. I'm an amazing boss. I'm a horrible employee. I don't like listening to people. So sparked a fire under my ass. Right when school started in September, I got into Amazon FBA. I bought someone's course. His name was Tanner Fox. There's a YouTuber, Tanner Fox.
Tanner J. Fox? Yeah, it's Tanner J. Fox.
There's two.
Not the skateboarder. Yeah. Or the scooterer.
Yeah. Is he still around?
Tanner J. Yeah, well, I know him personally. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but I mean, I have pictures on my Instagram with him, and he had the SVJ Lamborghini.
He's kind of like a buffer guy.
Yeah, buff dude.
Yeah.
He had a blue Lamborghini, a white Lamborghini. He had like a couple 100,000 subscribers on YouTube at the time.
Does he still do things?
Dude, I don't watch him anymore. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he was the first course I bought. Great course. It was $500, and it taught me like, oh, you could like get stuff from Amazon and put it in a warehouse. Like, this sounds too good to be true. This is great. I'll succeed. I have some money. I have some time, and did it. Didn't last that long. I realized just like the margins were way too small. It was just super difficult dealing with these Chinese suppliers, and like I lost like $8,000. And this was like November of 2018 when I made this realization. Then I had the realization, Shopify. Yeah. This is the answer. And so I bought a course. Actually, someone from my hometown. His name is Justin Wall. Solid course. It was $5,000, and it taught me how to run Facebook ads. How to test products, all this stuff, how to find winning products. And so every Sunday, I'm gonna just be very blunt and open here. I'm not saying to do this, though. Don't do this. But so my routine was like, I'd work on the store throughout the week, and Sunday was my day. I'd go to the gym at 7 a.m. 8 a.m. I'd go to Wendy's. I'd eat 5 hamburgers. I'd take an Adderall and sit there from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. in the library just testing products. And I would usually test about 4 products. I was able to like get up the ads and the descriptions and the pictures. Just sat there like a zombie. I did this all semester. And late April, a product hit. And it was actually a product that, like according to the course, I was not supposed to test. You only want to test proven products. But I was like, it was these pair of sandals. These like colorful pair of sandals. And I was like, man, let me just give these a test. They look cool. Like no one's ever bought them in Alibaba, but like I was like, these look cool. So I tested it. I ran $100 in Facebook ads, and it spit out like $250 or $300 in cash. Yeah. And I was like, oh shit, I got something here. After 4 months of testing like 50 products. And long story short, so graduation was May 20 something. And by graduation, I was on pace. I was doing $60,000 a month with my sandals. And my profit margins at the end of everything between ads and fulfillment was about 15 grand. And I was like, I made it. Yeah. This is it. Like I worked so hard. I took these risks no one else would take. Right. I made it. I don't have to get a job. People were asking me like, what do you do? I was like, I have this online store. I thought I was the man. And when graduation happened, so I walked on graduation. I thought I graduated, but I actually failed out. That's a whole nother story. But I went to San Diego to party with a bunch of friends. I remember I was at the nightclub just like with bottles everywhere, just like Shopify sales going off on my phone all day long. And I was like, this is it. This is the most amazing life. And what was crazy, now looking back at it, is I actually knew nothing.
Right.
I didn't know how to test ads. I didn't know what text messaging was or emailing was. Like, I could have placed all these things to make even more money, probably double my revenue. But I didn't even know like what a CRM was, honestly, at the time. But anyways, so when I got back from San Diego from partying, I realized some returns started to come in. I was like, this doesn't look good. And then more, and then more and more, because I scaled up so quickly, because I spent like $100 a day in ads, and I was like, oh, this works. 300 a day, 500 a day, 1,000 a day.
Yeah.
And I have a very aggressive personality. I love to gamble and take risks. So like, I just pushed it really hard. So all these sandals went out the door, and I started to get slammed with returns, like way too many. And I was like, holy crap, what is going on? So I had the supplier, Express, ship me a pair of sandals, and I was still living at my parents' home. And I got this pair of sandals in the door. I was like, oh shit, I am screwed.
Yeah.
This does not look like what it looked like in the pictures online. It was a disaster. And
Really?
I did not order the product first, like you should probably do. And it was just did not look right. It was a piece of crap. Long story short, I probably had like 50, 60 grand saved up, lost every single penny from this experience. And then what I would do is I would take a loan from my brother. And I'd say, hey, brother, his name's Brian. I'd be like, hey, give me $10,000. I'm going to go to this card show. I'm going to make myself a few grand. I'll give you $500 in profit. He loved it. He's like, $500? I don't need to do anything. Go at it. He's the opposite of me. He's like very conservative and frugal. And so I did that every single weekend. I made my money back. But I still knew this digital marketing thing worked, because I saw it. I had it in the palm of my hands, man. It still irks me to this day. Like, I saw the sales. I know Facebook ads are not a scam. I know it works. If I just had a good product in the door, dude, who knows where I'd be right now? I'd still be running that store, and like I'd be running email automations, and I would have grown that thing too. Who knows? But anyways, so my old college housemate heard about that I was into digital marketing, and he failed out of college. He lived in Long Island, New York. His name is John Suarez, and we had a mutual interest in entrepreneurship. Yeah. So we're trying to make something work. We're trying to get this real estate marketing agency off the ground, and didn't really go anywhere. Actually had a little bit of success for like newbies, but didn't really go anywhere. And in December of 2019, I said to him, I was like, hey, man, we got to live together to make this work. We got to get away from our friends, our family. We got to get away from all our distractions. I'm going to Miami. Probably not the place to get away from distractions. You could come with me or not. Yep. It was an easy decision for me, but he had a girlfriend. He is close with his family. I gave him an ultimatum. He came. So from January to March, we tried getting this real estate thing off the ground. A little bit of success. The real estate agents are lazy, man. Yeah. They don't want to call leads. And like, we did the calling for them. We had an an ISA team. Like, it was actually like qualified leads, but they were just lazy. They wouldn't show up to appointments. I'm like, don't you want to make money? That's another story. Yeah. But anyways, so we just realized like, we can't have our fulfillment in the hands of these other people that are lazy. So sports cards were exploding, and this is how I was paying for like the rent and everything through flipping sports cards while I was trying to get this digital marketing thing off the ground. And so March 12th, it's crazy how I remember all these dates. My buddy John commented on a Gary Vee post. Gary Vee tweeted something about sports cards, and my buddy commented. He's like, "Hey, what would you guys think if there's a program to show you how to make money?" He got like 20 replies saying, "Is there one? Where can I get one? How do I find one?" And then he showed it to me. He's like, "Look, we got something. You know everything about sports cards." And I said to him, "No, stupid idea." But we were out of options. So from my Facebook ad experience, we launched a simple ad. It was a picture of me and Gary Vee at a card show. Some of you guys watching this have probably seen that ad, honestly. Got a ton of hate for whatever reason. But it was a simple ad to opt in to a page to book a call. And we spent $300 the first day. And I remember when we launched the ads, it just exploded. Like something I've never seen before. So it was Friday, March 15th, I think, is when we launched the ads. I think that was a Friday of 2020. And so it just exploded. Like, calls were coming in. Like it cost us $5 to get a qualified call on Facebook, which, like, for those of you guys watching this that run Facebook ads, if you get a $100 qualified call now, that's good. So it was just taking off like wildfire. and these calls were for Monday, right? My calendar was open on Monday. We launched the ads on Friday. I was like, holy crap, I don't even have a program. I got to make something. So I sat down, once again, not saying to do this, but I popped an Adderall on Saturday and Sunday, sat down for like 18 hours a day, built out a whole program on everything I know from A to Z. I try to make it as good as possible. And that Monday, I knew nothing about sales. I don't even know what a sales call was. I didn't know there was like, persuasion tactics and objections. I had no idea what this stuff was. I remember from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., I had calls every 30-minute interval. Like everyone showed up. And I just got on the phone.
It's also not normal.
Yeah, not normal, but it was just such an exploding market.
Yeah.
And I remember I got on the phone with these people, and I was like, not knowing anything, I was like, dude, like I've been doing this for like 5 years. You got to do it, man. I'm telling you. And it was like $1,500 at the time. So I called like 15 people that first day. 2 people closed. So we made $3,000 on that Monday. And then everything just changed. I was like, holy shit, this is insane. And then from there, tons of ups and downs because marketing like that is not sustainable.
Yeah.
You actually have to learn how to retain clients and test ads and have emails and copywriting and texting and all this stuff. So we lost all that money we made in the first month naturally, knowing me. But that's how the business took off. That's the wild story.
Yeah, it's insane. And now you've been just scaling that ever since. I mean, you're still running that offer, right? Different offer, I'm sure, different ads, different everything.
So like to cut it in like 30 seconds, like we tried, so that like whole calendar funnel, we ran that for like 2 years and just couldn't scale it past $100,000 a month, like kind of profitably. It was kind of like crappy margins. And like, even like when I would get on these sales calls with people, because now the program's much more expensive. I'm not going to say the price, but it's a lot more expensive. Now, like, even when I would get on these sales calls, like, 'cause sports cards is such a unique and new thing, there was like this friction. It's not like real estate or Amazon where everyone trusts it. There's like this friction. And I was like, what can we do to remove this friction? And then in January of last year of 2023, I discovered what a webinar was. I was like, oh, I could do a webinar, sell something for $1,000 or $2,000 and upsell them, and I'll gain their trust. And we launched that webinar, and then my life changed after that.
Really?
And then we were able to scale to, I think we're probably pacing for like a lot of ups and downs from that as well, learning how to write a webinar and do that profitably. So like made a bunch of money up till August last year, lost it all again. And now we finally cracked the whole webinar code. So now we're scaling probably like 400-ish a month.
Yep.
Like profitably, thankfully.
Yeah.
That's like the wild story.
I think everybody goes through that, right? Like when you're running an offer, like we have an offer. We've been through the ringer on that offer, just in terms of salespeople and building a sales floor and a sales team and just a million different things that you learn as you go, right? And you have to figure out and navigate and I'm sure, and then the problems just get bigger, right? Like eventually the problems it's like all my companies we have 230 people between all my companies, and
you got big problems. You got way bigger problems than me.
I just have bigger problems, but I tell people, I'm like, dude, I got this. It's a very similar problem that I have when I had 23 people, right? It's just a little bit bigger, but I mean, and it'll be bigger when you have 2,300 people, right? I mean, like, it's just like, I think people think that when I make more money, the problem will go away, right? Like the problems just go away. I'm going to lay on a beach. I'm going to drink a margarita. It's like,
here's a question for you that I know the answer to, but the average 9-to-5er watching this will ask you, why put yourself through all the stress? Why don't you just quit? You have enough money, make a little bit of money off of real estate here and there.
Because I don't think it's about the money.
That's the answer. I was just asking for the audience.
Yeah, I don't think it's about the money, man. I think, I was probably like less stressed and like if I wasn't wired the way that I was wired, if I was wired differently, right? So like I just blame my DNA, like how I was born, Because like if I was wired differently, I'd probably just make 7, 8, 10 grand a month.
Are your parents like
and just live my life?
Like very goal driven entrepreneur?
Yeah, my dad was.
Okay,
yeah,
so you got it.
I grew up with my grandparents, and my grandpa was also, and I had like a rough childhood, so I think there was always like chip on my shoulder mentality, like I'll prove to the world, that type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Since I was a little kid. And that's a whole conversation that a lot of my followers already know. But yeah, dude, I've always been an entrepreneur. I'm just wired that way. So I think for me, it's not really about the money. There's actually been a lot of seasons in my life where I haven't made any money. In the last decade, right? Like, dude, there's been a lot of years of my entrepreneurial journey where I've paid all of my employees more money than I paid myself.
So you've
right?
had your seasons where you've lost.
Oh, for sure.
Okay,
no question about it, right?
That makes me feel better about
no
myself.
question about it, dude. If you ever meet anybody, by the way, that hasn't gone through that, they're either bullshitting you or I need to meet him, one or the other. But, you know what I mean?
Yeah, everyone has. Man.
Everybody, dude.
Yeah.
Because that's part of being an entrepreneur, right? And that's what people aren't talking about. You know, it isn't linear, right? It's up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down.
But
And then
if you look
eventually,
at it from a bird's eye view,
for sure,
like a far view, it'll you'll see it going.
You will trend up, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, in the long run, you know. But people aren't. It's a 10-year journey minimum, right? I always tell people, like, if you really wanted to be an entrepreneur, like you have to sacrifice at least 10 years of your life, like at a minimum, right? Like I don't think you're gonna do it any sooner.
Well,
Not like really make it, right?
Well, here's something. So, question for you that a 9-to-5 might be thinking to himself. So, like, I was lucky.
Mm-hmm.
I had this skill in sports cards that I could turn to make me $4 or $5 grand a month.
Yep.
Whenever I wanted. Most people don't have that. How long does it take to start making money? Because you have to pay the bills, you have to pay rent, you have a kid, child, whatever. Like, how long does it take you?
When you're an entrepreneur, long time. Yeah, I mean,
so how do you live life? You can't pay for rent. You do both, the 9-to-5 and the
Yeah, you do both in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, you probably have to do both, or you have to save a bunch of money in the 9-to-5 and then do that, right? Here's what I recommend though: if somebody's not wired to be an entrepreneur, right? Like truly, like you got to take a bunch of personality tests. Like you got to figure it out. It's like don't do it because you see other people doing it, right? It's a huge mistake. You know, I have people come into my office all the time. I had a gentleman come into my office yesterday. He's owned multiple companies, very intelligent human being, right? Made a lot of money in his life, and he wants to come work here. You know. And
Interesting.
And I have this all the time because he said, Austin, I am an entrepreneur kind of, but I don't have what it takes to be you, right? And I would rather work for you than be you. And I see that a lot because people don't realize the stress and the weight and the frickin' like immense pressure on an entrepreneur. And so what I recommend to people is Gary Vee actually talks a lot about this. I'm sure you've heard him talk about it, but people need to look at the entrepreneur. People need to look at the guy behind the guy, or two or three.
Those are the best employees,
dude, or two or three guys behind the guy.
Yes.
Right? You look at most big companies. If you start, like, let's say somebody starts with my company right now, okay? And they're like, let's say, just take Jacob, for example. But it's a great example, right? He's a videographer, editor. You know, we do all kinds of stuff, right? Now, let's just say I continue to scale social media, right? We continue to scale. Let's just say 5 years from now, 3 years from now, whatever, I'm on a much bigger platform than I'm on right now. What are the odds that I say, hey, Jacob, you're making $300,000 a year now? You know, you're making $250,000 a year. Hell yeah, because I'm going to hook my people up, right? Same thing with any role in my company.
Yep.
So what are the odds that somebody within an organization can actually make a significant amount of money, but then go home at 5 o'clock and not have the weight and the pressure of being the entrepreneur, right? Yep. And so I think it's just worth for people taking a look at that and look, if you really are an entrepreneur, then you should do it, right? Like you said. Like
how do you know if you're an entrepreneur?
I think you got to take personality tests, and you
I've never heard anyone say that. Take personality tests.
Yeah, I think to a degree you do. Like dive down that rabbit hole. Listen to a ton of podcasts. Like, and really separate what you see and what like you feel like genuinely. I think right because I've seen too many people become an entrepreneur by watching other entrepreneurs live a glamorous life, which isn't true.
Yeah.
Which isn't true, by the way. I want to be very clear. You know.
Here's a
and they don't, and so it's like they're getting into it for the wrong reason.
Yes,
right?
I completely agree with you. Like for me, I was buying and selling sports cards since 17 years old. So like I knew like I love that thrill, the gamble, the rush, the chase. Like I knew that for me. But here's an intricate concept that people fail to realize. Okay, people look at entrepreneurs and be like, oh, laptop on the beach and this and that. But here's the reality of entrepreneurship. Like, I'm sure you could attest to this too. And this is a common thing entrepreneurs say, right? I'm sure you've traveled a lot. When you travel, you are not the same working, right? Your routine's out of place. You eat shitty food, all this stuff. If nobody who has built a business to the point where they could lay on a beach all day and work from there wants to lay on a beach from like
nobody.
It's not how it works.
Nobody.
Like, they just put that shit out there because it's marketing.
Yeah.
Okay. Like if you have like you don't just quit, right? You don't just like be like, I'm making $300,000 a year as an entrepreneur. Beach gonna do nothing in Aruba. Because to get to that point, to build a business, to make $300,000 a year and automate things with employees and test things, in order to get to that point, your brain is not wired to sit on a beach and do nothing.
No.
Right? I can't lay on a beach. It drives me crazy.
Well, and even then, you can't. There's this huge gap. I mean, even like why? So then, why wouldn't Tony Robbins just lay on a beach all day, or Grant Cardone, or Gary Vaynerchuk, or Robert Herjavec from Shark Tank, or Mark Cuban? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, well, number one, your brain's not wired that way, but number two, there is no such thing as automated. Right?
That's true. Or passive.
Come on, dude.
Passive
Like, let's be real, right?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't exist. I mean, I've got 230 people, and I still am putting out fires that nobody can put out.
Yep.
Right? Like, if I leave for 2 weeks, I will come back with problems, 100%. I can't just disappear forever. It would not work, dude. These companies would eventually fall apart. And I have phenomenal partners. I have phenomenal staff, phenomenal employees. So, like, think about that for a minute. I'm sitting here saying, dude, I got an incredible team, bro. Like, I'm blessed to have an incredible team. Yet there is still things every single day that nobody could do but me, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm just laying on a beach, it isn't going to get handled.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now.
I can only imagine what your Slack looks like. When I wake up, my
Dude.
Slack's crazy. It's like a million messages. Yours is probably times 100.
I have 8 different, like, Slack organizations.
Oh, my God.
And then in each Slack organization, I have, like, 50 channels per organization.
So do you have someone that monitors that for you?
I monitor it all.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I thought my Slack was stressful. Yours is what I have one, and there's like probably like 25, 30 channels, and like I wake up to like 7 messages to 10 maybe.
I'll show you when we get out of the show.
Do I want to see it?
Probably not. Maybe. I don't know, Well, I love it, dude. Yeah, I think, at the end of the day, people just need to make sure they do it for the right reason. It's one of the reasons I started the pod, right? I have authentic conversations with the camera, with people on the other end of the camera, right? Of the reality of doing what we do, And I'm glad that you are helping. And I love, too, that your marketing is all about helping people make a side income. I think it's genius marketing, right?
Yeah.
You're not saying, hey, I'm going to help you make $100,000 a month. You're like, dude, I'll help you make a couple grand a month.
Yeah, that's what people want. And honestly, I got part of it. So like when I took over our Facebook ads 2 years ago, one of the things you do when you take, or like Cole Gordon, he taught me to do is look at your sales calls and look at what your best leads say. I was like, okay. And there was a very common theme. I went through like 10 sales calls, and some common words used in all my sales calls: keep my benefits and insurance, safe and stable, side income, realistic. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to repeat what they say on my ads so I get those people in the door. And honestly, that's what sports cards is. Like, can you make 10 grand a month? Yeah, you could. I've seen it a million times. But most people aren't wired and don't want to push that hard to make that amount of money. So 2-3 grand a month, that's what people want, right? People want to just make their mortgage payment easier, or, go on that vacation without worrying about racking up the credit card bill. And it's like hard for people like us to imagine. Like, we just swipe our Amex blindly, like, I don't give a shit. But I never take it for granted. Like, people always ask me, like, how much money do you want to make? And I always say, like, listen, man, as long as I could pay for my rent, which is kind of expensive in the Optima, and go across the street to Chipotle and not have to worry about it, I don't give a shit.
I'm happy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we forget.
Same.
People like us forget, like, people have to think about spending $19 at Chipotle. I remember, like, when I first started to make money from delivering pizza, like, being able to go to Applebee's and having, like, $150 in my wallet and just being able to buy the $10 wings and not caring. Like, I'll never take that feeling for granted. I forgot what my point was. But,
super valuable point.
Yeah, but that's what people want, right? Like, an extra few grand a month. If you're making $8 grand a month as a job, an extra 2 or 3 grand, that's that's a 30% increase to your life. What would a 30% increase to your business do? Same concept, right?
Yeah. Well, and also it's not even realistic for a lot of people, right? Like, they can't fathom making 12 grand a month. Like, it has to happen in stages. And even for guys like you and me, I bet you remember a day where, like, if somebody told you would one day make 50 grand a month, whatever your company, like, dude, our companies make an insane amount of money. Now, I don't make that much money. I'm talking gross revenue, right? Gross revenue between all of our companies is ridiculous. I mean, I never thought I'm 28. I never thought at 28 years old that we would do the numbers that we're doing. Like, but it didn't happen all at one time. It was a freaking slow and steady grind.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same concept, right? It's like, hey, I'll show you how to make 2 grand a month. And then when they make the extra 2 grand a month, it's like, well, what if you could make 5?
Yep.
And then it's like, what if I could make like 7,500, And you slowly kind of it starts to become more real, right? You're like, oh, dang, I could make 12 grand a month now. But like, when you're making 0 a month, you're like, how am I going to get to 12? It's too big of a gap.
Yeah, that's, it's funny you say that. Cause like, so that same thing for me, right? Sports cards, I was making a few grand a month. then Shopify, even though I lost my ass, showed me, oh, wait, I'm making $15,000 a month in profit. And now Major League Profits, I was like, oh man, if I could just get to 100K a month. And I did that.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second, my profit margins suck. Then we launched the webinar. Now we're doing like 4 or 5 times that. I'm like, holy crap. Like, and now I'm meeting these people like you. And, you know, I was at a Alex Hormozi's event last week. These people that are doing millions a month. And I'm like, I can do that.
Yeah.
Right. It happens in stages. And it's similar. This is my marketing brain turning on now. Like, it's similar why the webinar works so well for us, because they buy a little program first and then they upgrade to the bigger program. They see it's real. So like,
now they have trusting you.
Yeah, taking baby steps just in life or running a marketing funnel is a good idea.
I love it, dude. Well, I'll ask you one more question. We'll wrap here. So what would be your biggest piece of advice then for anybody out there who might be thinking about becoming an entrepreneur? You know, they want to be a business person. Maybe they want to flip cards.
You would ask this.
They want to flip card, whatever it might be, right? If you could just hit them with one just solid piece of advice that you've learned on your journey, what would it be?
All right. I actually have, when people say, how do I start a business? I actually have the exact answer. No one ever has the answer, but I have the answer. So if your goal is to make a few grand a month, 5, 6, 7 grand a month, I'm your guy. Join Major League Profits. If you want to make 15, 20, 30, 50 grand a month, I am not your guy. Do this. And I'm going to say this. And it's funny because my first student ever for Major League Profits, he was 19 when he joined. He wanted to start a business. And I told him this advice. He did not listen to me, and he lost all the money he had. Brock, I know you're watching this, and I'm talking about you. But so this is what you do if you want to start a business, right? You could go my route and pay a shit ton of money, mentorship, programs, write these webinars, lose a ton of money, make a lot of money, and most people will not be wired for that. So what you do is you become a sales rep. And like, for the company that you want to work for. So like, let's say you're me and you want to start an online coaching program. Become a sales rep, learn sales for an online coaching program, and become one of their reps. Now what's going to happen is if you're working for a decent company, you'll make 8, 10 grand a month, which is great. And the biggest thing, now you're getting paid to learn.
Yeah.
Right? And then like Cole Gordon, he was a sales rep for years. Then he launched his offer and does millions and millions a month. But when you start, you understand how a business works, how CRM, employees, marketing, how to sell someone, which is a super valuable skill they don't teach in school. Do that, get paid to learn. Then when you start your business, you're actually going to start making money right away because you understand, at the very least, selling. If you just understand selling, you won't be broke. So like, become a sales rep first, do it for a year or two, and then start your company. And if you go that route, you'll make way more money in the short term and long term, and you get paid to learn.
I love that advice.
There's the answer.
Phenomenal.
You're
advice.
welcome, camera.
Yeah. You had it too. You're like, nobody's got it. I've never heard that advice. I mean, I've heard it in a different way, but I've never heard it in that particular format.
And people just want to like Brock. I know you're listening, so I'm making fun of you. Like, he sees me like doing well for myself, and he asked me for advice. I told him this, and he did the opposite. Most people don't have any like. How impatient can you be, Brock? Wait a year, right? Become a sales rep. But yeah, so like, do that, and you'll make way more money in the short term. Because that first year, starting a business anyways, you're not going to make anything.
Yeah.
You're probably going to lose money. Wouldn't you rather make money and learn?
For sure.
Right?
All day, every day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
be patient.
Yeah.
Delay the gratification.
Exactly.
I love it, dude. Hey, where can people find you? How do they get a hold of your program? Give me your Instagram, your website, all your information so people can find you.
You can just follow me on Instagram, Eric Michael MLP, or just YouTube me. I'm not going to like hard sell anyone. I'll
Eric Michael MLP.
MLP. Yeah, you can just follow me on Instagram.
On
That's
IG, cool. DM you.
Yeah, sports. If you want to do sports cards, DM me. Watch the YouTube videos. I put out some good YouTube content that's actually valuable. Then you can decide.
It's actually valuable. I like that. Yeah, just like kind of a little shade on all the people that are putting non-valuable crap out there, right?
I try to actually teach people how to make money with sports cards, but you can just follow me on Instagram.
Cool.
That's cool.
I appreciate you being here, bro. We'll have to do it again at some point. We live in the same goddamn building, so we'll do it again.
I appreciate it. Well, I appreciate it as well. Hopefully this podcast goes viral.
It will. It'll definitely will get a couple of clips to go viral. I'm sure of that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Cool.
Looking forward to it.
100%. Hey, if you're still watching, I really appreciate it. All of Eric's information will be down in the description below. Go check all that out. And if you haven't already, subscribe, like the video. We'll see you in a future video.